Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to be talking about a recipe that I invented myself, and I am going to call this green lentil chili. So green lentils are actually the light brown lentils. They're not the orange lentils that are called red lentils, and they're not the black lentils that are called French lentils. But I hope you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm sure you will. And oh, by the way, I just got in my workout a while ago. It's just almost 2 o'clock in the morning, very early in the morning on Saturday. Apparently, yeah, it's Saturday. And I submitted an assignment for my class a little while ago, and then I got to do just a little bit more work, and I'll get that done on time. The other part's not due right away. So anyway, yeah, back to this recipe. So, you know, so what I do is I take 1 pound of the green lentils. Now, if you're not using the English system, if you're using the metric system, then you know, if you know that 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So you can roughly estimate that 1 pound is a little less than half of a kilogram. Maybe it's around 450 grams, but it's less than 500 grams. But if you want to use metric, you can just use 500 grams or half a kilogram of the green lentils, and you put them in a saucepan, and you cover them with more water than you normally would because you're going to be cooking these with something else. But you add that other thing, the other things later. So I would say, just to be safe, I would put like, okay, so you know how deep the saucepan is with just the lentils, right? So it should be covering the lentils with twice that depth. In other words, don't have it like, I'm trying to explain this. So it's not twice as deep as the lentils, it's 3 times as deep as the lentils. So in other words, like twice the depth of the lentils above the lentils. Anyway, I'm sure you can figure that out. You can just figure it out anyway, because this sort of whole thing is sort of by scratch, and you'll just figure it out as you go. So you boil the lentils, and you boil them a little while till you feel they're really, cooked as well as you want them. I don't really cook my lentils a lot, but I have to cook them some, obviously. So I bring it to a boil for a few minutes, and then I turn it off. And then I have ready mixed 2 more ingredients: steel cut oats and coarse grind cornmeal. So coarse grind cornmeal is a whole grain corn product that's made by Bob's Red Mill, and you can search online for that. And steel cut oats is a very common item that's made by many different companies, and so it's made by nature, really. But you know what I'm saying is, it's distributed by different companies, so marketed or whatever, packaged, sold. Anyway, I would have more of the steel cut oats than the coarse grind cornmeal, but in my recipe it wasn't too much more. So maybe I had 80% the amount of the oats that I had of the cornmeal. So it's not exactly a 1-to-1 ratio. And as far as how much of each of these you have in comparison to the green lentils, you just don't have, I don't know, maybe like by volume, it's hard to estimate, but maybe more than half of the amount of green lentils for both your, I'm trying to explain this, like when you have your cornmeal and your steel cut oats mixed together, that quantity together is more than half the amount of, by volume, of, let's say, the green lentils. But basically you just have this any way you want it. So you decide for your own self how much how much steel cut oats and how much coarse grind cornmeal you want to add. And I mean, basically, I don't have it really strong with the cornmeal and the steel cut oats, but I didn't use any measuring instruments. I just did this by a sense of feel. So this water is really hot. It has just been brought to a boil and turned off. You put those ingredients in with the lentils and just stir it. So it's not boiling, but it doesn't need to be boiling, because just the heat of that hot water that very recently was boiling will essentially cook it enough. You don't want it really like heavily cooked. You just want it lightly, softened up. And what I do is I mix the oats and the cornmeal together really well first. So otherwise you could get lumps if you just stir cornmeal in something hot by itself. But if it's well mixed with the oats, it won't lump as much. So you stir that in. And then I added some crushed red pepper. And as far as how much to add, I mean, you just put enough in your hand and look at it and toss it on in there and stir it in. You know, how much is up to you. You can have it really spicy and really hot and peppery, or not so much at all, but it's totally up to you. You don't even have to have it spiced. And then I added a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. And remember, the boiling has already been off before you added anything else. So 6-ounce can of tomato paste. I don't know what that is in metric, but you can look that up. 6 ounces, you know, and we're talking maybe about fluid ounces now. But anyway, you put that in there and you stir that in really, really well. And then you're almost done, but then you can add your oils. And I added canola, soybean, and sunflower oils, but you could add a lot of different types of oils. You know, if you're an olive oil type, you could add olive oil, you could add corn oil, you could add peanut oil, you could add, what's another one that's common, but you know, you'll figure that out. You just figure it out for yourself. It doesn't have to be exactly what I said. It's just the general idea that you have the green lentils and the steel cut oats and the coarse grind cornmeal, and then crushed red pepper and tomato paste, and in whatever quantities and ratios that you want, you decide that. And then I would put some oils in it because I just like that. And I had this, and it was very, very good. And I had a big batch. I had a big saucepan full of it because those things really expand up, like the cornmeal and the steel cut oats will expand up when they get into that hot water and you stir them in really well. So everything was stirred together really, really well. And I really liked that, and it was very high protein, very nourishing meal, and had, you know, lots of strengthening effects, and it really got me going through my days that I had that. And basically, I've got a whole lot to do. I got to wash a load of clothes now. I'm going to work later today, Saturday. And I hope you're all doing really well, but my workouts are going really well, and my class is going well, my work is going well, but I need to get going on some things and get some sleep. Well, thank you very much, and have a great time.